We don't. Okay. Go ahead.
Cooking with Chief, serving another taste of this history. Action.
Hi, this is Cooking with Chief, serving up history. I promised you all I was going to come back and talk to you on today. Sorry, we're starting a little late. I'm still getting used to this. But what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to actually be talking about, we're actually going to be talking about stuff like the Dancing Rabbit Treaty, Article 14. We're going to actually talk a little bit about the shows that already been out there and the feedback that I've received. I've received a lot of good feedback. In the process of looking at the feedback that I've received, some of you wanted to know more about Article 14. Some want to know even the overall Dancing Rabbit Treaty. So I thought today we'll talk about that a little bit. First of all, the Dancing Rabbit Treaty was signed in 1830. It was an agreement between the United States and the Choctaw people. The 1830 treaty had two parts to it, and the part two is Article 14. Article 14 covers the Indians that didn't go to Oklahoma, who accepted dual citizenship. All Indians didn't want to live in the United States. That was another thing. So you had the opportunity to go to Oklahoma, and I use the word opportunity, because what people don't talk about, you also had the opportunity to stay. Some Indians in our communities, West Florida area and so on, who did not want to go, they accepted dual citizenship. What's dual citizenship? Dual citizenship is what we had with Spain. We had it with France. United States, we thought we were going to have it. But immediately after the signing of the Dancing Rabbit Treaty, that was a removal. Immediately after. So you signed it in 1830. The removal starts. People begin to have agreements and disagreements. Some wanted to go into Oklahoma because they wanted to get away from the white man. And Oklahoma was a promise to them that if they went to Oklahoma, they did not have to deal with living in white society of America. That's one part. Second part, you could have accepted dual citizenship, which Pierre José opened the door for us to have dual citizenship, some of us who chose to do that. And being that we was his family, we ended up with dual citizenship. We were not removed from our native lands. We were supposed to have the right to remain involved with our tribe, tribal leadership, as well as follow the laws of the United States. We are doing that. We have done that. Now let's see what happens with this thing that makes this twist. Things went on for a little while with the dual citizenship. Those who didn't go to Oklahoma was allowed to go in and out of Oklahoma for a while, the leadership, that is. And the leaders was going back and forth because Pierre José at one time also served as the chief in Oklahoma, still maintaining his leadership here in West Florida, or should I say the Western District. Bonfacao was the head place. There were no Bayou Lacombe, Choctaw, never have been. I've told you all Lacombe was this gentleman who came down and started a tar pit business. That's where the word Lacombe comes. But Bonfacao is prehistoric. And that's what Pierre José was the leader of. That's what Pushmataha was the leader of, the Western District. But Bonfacao held this secret that is still hold today. So why am I bringing the secret out now? Because too much corruption, too much lying and deceit on the tribes. Phoenix may be joining us real soon. She's been working with serving up some of this history. She have done a wonderful job on her research, her and her team, to see if Chief Warhorse is lying. And what she's looking at is a lot of these people just starting to get recognition in the 50s, the 40s, as late as 1971, 72, some people as late as 2004 receiving these recognitions. If the treaty was done in 1830, what took them so long to get their recognition in places like Oklahoma? Oklahoma, Choctaw Nation, as they say, received their recognition after the Mississippi Band of Choctaw. Why would that happen? If you've been in Oklahoma since 1830, you should not have to seek a recognition. What happened? Eventually they disbanded the Indian tribes in Oklahoma. And the white people lived as white, and the black ones end up falling under black. That's the battle right now. Who does it really belong to? Who did that treaty? Who traveled the trails of tears? Who had land papers in this part of West Florida that end up going into Oklahoma and had land even there? Because what we have to realize in the beginning when they did the land in Oklahoma, it was Indian territory. So there were no individual land patents in the beginning. It was to the nations, which means the Creek would have had theirs, the Choctaw would have had theirs. They all had different treaties. The Dancing Rabbit Treaty is for us, those who was in this area. But a lot of their grandparents had land already here, as well as giving that land up to go into Oklahoma, into the Indian Territory. So what happens with this? Well, the disbandment or the terminating of the Indian tribes left everybody without a tribal identity to an extent in Oklahoma. But there are people who can trace their tribal identity before the termination. When they terminated it, it was done by Washington, D.C., which it shouldn't have never been done because it was a treaty. So many years of battling about the treaty that the United States should not have ever terminated. It was done. That's called systematic racism. So then the Indians suffer another plight. On the other hand, out here, the agreement of Article 14 was that you had the right to stay and have dual citizenship. That began to get terminated too. Okay? So we got a lie on if you stay or go, it ended up being a lie. Either way. I really don't think the United States know how to fix the lie, because the lie is right at getting to be 200-year-old worth of lie. So how do you fix it without causing people to become angry or frustrated? And if people have lived this life for so long, some of them may not know where they fit. Some may believe what they've been taught. But let's break it down. This show, we're going to start talking on stuff you can break down even more. Y'all have done a great job. Y'all are really digging into this history. And we serving it up. First of all, we need to go and look. When did these tribes that's federally recognized? And I'm talking about the so-called 5 civilized tribes. We'll get to the other ones later, but we're dealing right here now where I actually know what then went on. Then we can expand, because wherever the coup d'etat was pulled in one spot, I'm sure it was the same coup d'etat pulled in the next spot. They never write new books. They just take the book and pass it on from generation to generation. So let's look at what I know so far we can look at. When they reinstated tribes under Nixon, we're going to go back before Nixon. Let's go to Woodrow Wilson. He played a little game. Go research Woodrow Wilson. Look at his connection. Look at what he did. But he was the father of the birth of a new nation. And why I'm calling the father, he took and played that in the White House. That was his going in thing, birth of a new nation. And right after you see birth of a new nation, you see clans going crazy around the world. You see a lot of massacres again. You see a lot of people, places being burned down. So we're not looking at, when we talk about Black Wall Street, there were tons of Black Wall Streets, but they begin to be burned down by the clans. And the clans is like the military army for the white supremacy. And the white supremacy get their power from the elected officials who pass laws and policies in their favor and justify what they are doing. That's not pretty. And I'm not here talking to radicalize anyone, because being radical don't get it. Being sensible and knowledgeable and researching and getting facts and telling the truth is how we can resolve this whole mess. One problem we had is the organizing of these tribes was done under Jim Crow, when people of color was judged by the color of their skin. So we're looking at racism to the highest in the 1920s. But then we're going to go a step back before the 20s. What happened to give them that power? Well, I hear people talking about the 1866 treaty in Oklahoma. But if you go back and look at the 1866 treaty, they still not standing to it either. Because if they won by the 1866 treaty, the people who have their land patents will be able to be a part of their nation and with respect, and not looked upon as descendants of slaves. But the problem is, we don't want to tell the truth of what happened. So it's a cover up to a cover up. All right, let's deal with one. All right, those who went to Oklahoma should not be the ones cutting up for a seat in Congress. Because first of all, in 1830, Oklahoma Indian Territory was not a part of the United States to guarantee it a seat in Congress. The seat in Congress was promised to those who remained. That's who needed it, because they had dual citizenship. So in 1830, 1835, Oklahoma did not have dual citizenship to have a representative in Congress. So that's something you need to be looking into. How can someone ask for a seat for something that at that time was not a part of it? And that same thing goes for the Cherokee Nation too. Now, what happens? We got the Confederates into Oklahoma. The Confederates is who accompanied and also stayed in Oklahoma along with the Indian community. So we had people that was already in Oklahoma that had to move in, I'm talking white people that is, prior to 1830. And these people, if you go pull cases in Washington, you'll see where the Indian community was in an upraise, because they get there to something that they told them they wasn't able to see the white people, it was going to be theirs. They get there and find all these white people who already done set up their camp. Okay, so that was the issue. But the Indians were not a part of the American United States part of the Indian agreement. They was a part of go to Indian territory, run your own country. That was a lie. Because you already have whites there, and you also have the whites that's assisting them to go in there. And then a lot of the whites that was a part of sitting down for the treaty was also awarded land, because they was a part of the treaty. So they had land patents, or should I say land granting to them from the government. So it went in, not what the Indians thought. One stayed home, they thought they were gonna have dual citizenship. Another lie. Dual citizenship meant you got your land patents if you could find the agent as it's recorded. Because the agents would be somewhere drunk or anywhere he can be not to be there to give you your stamp for your land patent. So that was a big issue. So you end up with the Indians that didn't go to Oklahoma and the Indians that went to Oklahoma trying to communicate with Washington to get these things ratified, okay? That took on some years. I can imagine taking a trip from Oklahoma and from down here to Washington, D.C. to communicate of the issues on the lies. So I'm sure many years passed by on that. Then you had these trappers and explorers and all of this coming in, and they were creating tribes as they were going along. Just like you see today, this is not the first thing when people come in making tribe names up and splitting people and splitting families. Well, that took place too. But the little part that we keep missing is, what happened to the Indians that looked like this? How did they disappear? Well, let's go back. When Spain came, Spain used the word Negro or whatever for the word of black. That's their language, okay? Then you got your British and American using the word black. So you end up with Negro and black. Are y'all where I'm at? Same word, different language, okay? That's no difference than a person saying God and another one saying Allah, okay? Both of them are saying God, but in two different language. I'm just trying to show you where the whole confusion comes in. These different languages that came in here. So let's go back to this. A lot of names, the European didn't pronounce them the same way. The French pronounce it one way, the Spanish one, and the Britain another. But with all the mispronunciation, there's still some truth in it. In about another week, we're going to see what Spain said about who was here. Okay? But for tonight, what I want to touch upon is Negro means black. I know they got people out there offended about the word black. Okay? But if that's what document your facts, you need to look at that and not ask for it to be erased. So when they removed Negro off all these records recently, and don't want to use the word Negro, how many of you that lost your identity with just one pinstripe of a president removing Negro? People argued to remove Negro that had a history, but did not argue to remove African American that only have a history that go to 1988. So we need to rethink those things. What are your history documented under? It's going to be hard for you to find your grandmother as an African American in the records, unless your grandmother was born in 1988 or 1989. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back through history the way they laid it and find yourself. So you may have to look in Negro. You may have to look in the colored bucket. You may have to look in the mulatto bucket. You may even have to look in the Creole bucket. But if you keep removing or allowing them to remove the markers of history, then you get lost for real. Because now what they are doing is throwing everybody in one great big bucket. Now, where do you fit? So now you got to dig through African American, to dig through black, to get back to Negro, to start looking for your history. Okay, so what should we do? Well, here's what I'm saying. Go back and look at that word Negro. Look at what your grandmother was classified as. Because around the Negro time, you start seeing Indians being classified by that. But it was Spain who brought the word Negro to these shores, Spain. And all they were saying was black, or in other words, dark. Okay? I'm brown. But they didn't put in history the brown people. But they did put copper colored, which then let me know is back in the brown zone. So let's not get so offended with the word that we don't use that word to justify our identity in history. Okay? We get too emotional over those things, and then we get blinded and get caught into some kind of argument over who's right and who is wrong. I see Phoenix is joining in with us. Y'all are in. Who's right and who is wrong is who tells the truth versus who's telling the lie. So there is a right and there is a wrong. So, welcome, Phoenix. Can you hear me?
Yes, Chief. How are you? You look so beautiful.
I'm starting off on the line of truth right now. I don't know if you heard at the beginning when I was saying I was going to talk about the identity swap, in other words, of the Indians who left here, Indians, and most of them now in Oklahoma being classified as freedmen, and there is no freedmen treaty, okay? There's no freedmen treaty, so how do those people get there? When the Indians left from here in 1830, there were no lists of the tribes and their possession and their slaves, which would have been their possessions. It does talk about the Indians having to leave their possessions home. So I don't know how we get all the Indians in Oklahoma becoming freedmen. Back home, they start classifying them under the word colored Negro and mulatto. But all of a sudden, Oklahoma said for an Indian to be able to have right to their stuff. Remember the young girl who had the oil rights? She had to be reclassified as white to have power over her funding. We're not asking why was a person of color having to be classified white and it had nothing to do with the color of her skin. So white is a classification, black is a classification. And black mean we couldn't have our stuff, and you have to be reclassified as white to have access to your stuff. This child's stuff was put under guardianship of white people until she was able to be reclassified as white. And it took black people fighting through the civil rights movement to get her classified, to get her stuff. Okay. Something missing right there, right, Phoenix? Why you have to be white or reclassified as white? So that meant color, skin had nothing to do with it. It was what you owned could get you classified. I hope some of y'all hear what I'm saying. I don't see anybody with no feedbacks on this, so I don't know if y'all hear me. I don't see it on the screen. Wait a minute, let me go to my phone. I might see y'all from here because I can't see it on the screen right now. Okay, I can see y'all. Okay, I got you finding our feathers. What I'm trying to say is, there you go. Okay, I got something right here. Mr. Waldo, here you saying the Freedmans are making a mistake by putting themselves under Article 2. Okay, Mr. Waldo, y'all see what he's saying. All right, I agree with him, but I want to kind of like, how can I say, try to explain it for them if they don't mind, because people say, you can't speak for us. But I think what is happening, Mr. Waldo, is that this is what they've been told for so long. That's all they do know. Okay? And that's where we're going to have to get out there and really research and help them to understand that the trickery that's being pulled. And I think we need to work with them on that. And it's hard because if somebody was raised thinking blue is red and red is blue, it's hard to get them to see you've been tricked. That's all they ever know. But what we want to do is see by the governments what was being said. Because it seemed like it should have been in some treaty for the Cherokee or somebody. There should be at least a paragraph that say, and they're taking their freedmen with them. Or they're taking their slaves with them. And nobody has shown me that, and I have not seen it. But I'm open to learn. Okay? If you can show me where that's in one of the treaties, I'll just come back on live and say, I'm sorry, I didn't see that part and it hadn't been brought to me. Same thing that they can get to say. I'm sorry, I didn't know they stole my identity, but I'm willing to dig for my identity. But I do know this. It does hurt Mr. Waldo and them to be trapped inside of an 1830 treaty that somebody now want to make them descendants of slaves or freedmen. And I'm not talking without having someone on here that's living that. Mr. Waldo lives in Oklahoma, and he understands what I'm saying. Same trick was pulled off the reservation as well as on it. And some people used to get mad at me when I used to say the reservation was a prison camp. That's what it was set up for. Just like you all have found out that Angola was another level of a prison camp to get free labor. So we have to understand, we have been punished from the color of our skin since the white man set foot on this earth over here. Why would we be punished because of the color of our skin? It's because of the color of our skin, we own the land. So they have to find a way to justify to remove us one way or the other. But it's time we all come to some kind of understanding in America. We're not going anywhere. They've given us disease. They have worked people for no labor. People keep saying about all the ships came from Africa. I haven't seen nowhere the white man went, he don't leave junk. Look in space. They got space junk. Where's the slave junk going at? Where's that? I'm not saying they didn't bring any people here from Africa. I'm sure they did. They were switch-washing people from here to the African continent before they brought people from the African continent to here. I see they talking about they didn't pay Africa, they didn't give them $55 billion. How much do you give back to America? You brought the people from Africa here, but you didn't enslave a great number of people that was born on this earth on this side. When I'm saying earth, I'm talking land, okay? On this land mass, people that look like me had already been enslaved. We have suffered all of these years of mental abuse. And the worst abuse of it all is when the person that been doing this to you, they descendants, treat us like we belong somewhere else. We don't belong to this place. When I read where they say they come out of a hole, what hole? What hole? When I read they say they fed the Irish, how they fed the Irish and waiting on commodities from the government? If you were so independent to feed another country, truly you should be able, with all the money through casinos and all of these things, to uplift your people. Why are you still looking for someone to give them something when you already have an opportunity, when you have a seed that you're not making grow? You get money through the casinos. You're not reinvesting to help your people. You get money from government set-asides, not reinvesting to help your people. You don't need outside doctors if you have that kind of money coming in, because the money can go to educate the children and come back to help their own people. They're talking about obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol problem. But you have money to change that. You have money to invest to make it better for your people. But no, you're still waiting on the government. Well, okay, the government is United States. United States get their money from all of us, even this color. And the money is brought to Indian tribes that's also racial against us. Out there, if I'm telling the truth, that we pay a tax for people who do not like us and the racism, I can see the TV monitor from here. Let me see some fire, please. Let them know we're not ignorant. We are paying for what they have. And they don't want us to come in the door. They know we are who we are, because as they research, they see where they are not who they say they are. If you look in records, it talks about they can't tell the Negro from the Indian. How the heck you can't tell a Negro from a white person? We need to look at that. Why did the Catholic Church have a mission for the Black Indian mission, which ended up getting changed to Black and Indian mission? What happened there? See, a few words changes things. Y'all understand? But we're not crazy. We know you played with us. So the best thing even the government can do, go in archives, get the truth. These are the same people that organized the Order of the Red Man. These are the same people that organized the organization Pocahontas. These are the people who organized Boy Scouts. Y'all heard Tom Akelin, he was a Boy Scout. So a lot of people still playing Boy Scout. A lot of them still playing Pocahontas. If y'all knew they had an organization called Pocahontas out there, send me some fire. Y'all can see over there, I'm looking to see. Are y'all familiar with the Pocahontas organization? Are y'all familiar with the Order of the Red Man? Those are some things you need to study. And it'll start answering a lot and what ammunition was used to take and trade places. But we're going to come up a little more to Nixon. What part did Nixon play? Well, what Nixon did was trick everybody. So Nixon go in and he reorganized tribes under Reconstruction of the Tribes. This is about the third time he reorganized something. And in all the organizing, we kept getting farther and farther organized out. Right now, they're looking for the ancestors, and when they find pictures, they don't like us. And they say, oh, these must be our ancestors. Somewhere down in Louisiana. Somewhere down in Louisiana, and we your ancestors. I have cousins that was raised in Ohio and California. I know they my family. We check on each other. Why y'all never checked on us if we your family down here? That sounds strange, huh? But all of a sudden, you want to come down here and talk about this is where we come from. Well, we don't even know where you come from. We don't even look alike. We don't talk alike. We don't have the same culture. We don't dance alike. We don't write the same music. We don't sing the same song. Something's wrong there if nothing match up. If my cousins come from Michigan or Ohio or wherever around the United States, we can see something of our grandparents in each other. Either our eyes, nose, mouth, or something's supposed to match. Why nothing match? I think it's time people check who we've been taking care of. Have we been paying the wrong people? If the casinos is they pay, why do we still have to pay them through our tax dollars? It's one or the other. The United States take care of every country and every tribe that said it was Indians. And when you go look, these people link back to the Europeans that did the first taking. Now their grandchildren and great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren is still benefiting from this. Look how many entertainers have made money saying they were Indians. So when we see these black people mimicking that, organizing their own tribe, stick a feather in their head and call it macaroni, is not the first time to that game because the white man played the game first. But this what you don't know. If they was stealing it from you for you not to have it, you think they're going to open the door and let you in? But what they did is create black folks on the internet fighting each other over which group of blacks you belong to and what religion you in. So you over a religious battle and organizational battle, and that's to divert you from going to the truth. You know, if you really start understanding the truth, we could take our voting power and do like all the other groups have done. Organize our power. Forget about Democrat or Republican. Neither one have heard us. But we can go vote. We can register as independent. They got so many different parties under independent. We can register as independent. Heck, they need a truth party. Somebody that's going to say, if you're going to tell the truth, I'll vote for you. But these people coming around quoting us under a lie, it's time for that to be out. These people playing games with us like we don't know who we are. Like we just making up my grandmother was an Indian, our grandfather was an Indian. If we don't get ups on that, the next generation going to be even more lost. This shouldn't be something that somebody's running around charging people to join a tribe and make a living off either. I've seen people doing it because they came to me. And it shouldn't be something people are using to divide us. Even in this here platform that I have. If you've been out there and you've been on the wrong side of stuff and getting radicalized and radicalizing, if you're coming over to this platform, come in peace. And if you was misled by one of the other platforms, come to this platform in peace. And if we don't have the answer, we'll work with you to find the answer. But battling against each other is what they want. Because if that's what you think being an Indian is, you're wrong. Being an Indian was people who was living their lives, taking care of their families and hunting and fishing and keeping the earth. So what Indian had time to have all them feathers on trying to kill a squirrel or rabbit or fishing? Come on, y'all, let's come back to the realistic point. I wear tribal clothes, but tribal clothes don't make me an Indian. That's why I'm sitting here like this. Take that junk off because it don't mean nothing to you. You heard Tom Aiken say that wasn't real. You heard Tom Aiken say that's not the way the Indians were dancing. Why could he say that? Because he understands what the Order of the Red Man and the Pocahontas and the Boy Scout did. And don't leave out Bill Cody, Wild Wild West, and every Western movie people watch. Don't mimic that junk. That's not real. is fake. I'm pleading with you. Use your research time wisely to educate yourself and your other family members. Don't waste hours. That's going to cost you later because you're going to grow old. And those same children that you have misled are going to have to be able to take care of you. And they're not going to know the proper way because you did what the white man did. You stole their knowledge. You didn't give them an opportunity to grow. If you want to do something to be an Indian, go plant a garden. Create stuff to help your family when times get hard. We got families that don't like us in our families. We all know that throughout our family. They get tired of you. You know, you got a big mouth. You don't settle for what they want you to settle for, or whatever makes families have differences. But you're still going to have to feed them one day. You still got to look out for them because if this country's shut down, even in the Bible, the wealth of a family is the number of family members they have and the animals and what you have in your field. Do y'all understand? Not how many United States dollars are in your pocket. Can you feed your family if the dollar wake up tomorrow and the dollar is nothing? Are you going to be able to feed your family? Or are we going to be so much of an enemy and can't trust each other that we can't even help feed each other? Are y'all with me? Shock this country. Shock other countries. Go in unity for something. You got people that only wanted to write books. They got on here, they got all the information, they went to writing books for you to buy. They don't even know where they came from. And you buying their book. If the blind lead the blind, they both fall in the ditch. Stop letting blind people lead you. Especially if they ain't got a stick. They just walking. They ain't tapping. They walking. And you walking behind them with closed eyes. I was talking to Mr. Waldo earlier today. We was discussing. I know everybody that on this here platform does not like Chief Warhorse. I know that. But I also know they got some of you all out there that do like Chief Warhorse. I'm not here to con you out of nothing. Some of you out there have been conned already. Some of y'all are still being conned. People sold you a chief title. How could somebody do that? I had a man in Home Depot the other day stop me, and he said some tribe that don't have any type recognition, but using a historical name gave someone in New Orleans a chief position. I'm like, well, who gave them theirs? Who gave it to them? I know a lot of people still think I'm fake and I made this up. No, baby, I was raised like this. And I'm glad I'm in a town that know that. Okay? But have you been living what you're trying to live now? Do people know you as who you say you are? I done showed y'all how I got the name Chief Warhorse because I fight for my people. How you get your name? A name should have something that it means. Not something you decide to make yourself a chief and give yourself a name. I'm going to bring more people on this show. And what y'all need to start asking some of these people, say, look, go get me your rap sheet on what you've been doing. And do this before you handing these people your money. I'm sitting here talking to you, anybody gave me no money. Y'all been seeing me on the internet for a long time. Before some of the ones that's writing books and getting money. Some of you need to write to them and tell them to return your money. Just like I told them about that preacher, Grateful Dollar. He done changed his story. Tell the man, send your money back. And you can legally say they frauded you. So all these people that defrauded you, they owe you your money back. All you got to do is pick up that phone, dial FBI. You was frauded. That was against the law what they did to you. And I expect the white Indians to say I'm fake. Because I'm telling the truth. They more Asian. Didn't the man said in the testimony things that, Mr. Waldo, you on here? He said he was half Asian. I was speaking at the Senate. I'm not being racist. They said it. The other man said he white. So we pay white people and Asians. And we rather pay them. And when you see them, you're going to honor them as an Indian, but my skin color is too dark. That's racism. That's prejudice. But I can sit on this stage with my kinfolks. What about those other tribes? Where the kinfolks at? And they got to go back and pull them old pictures. They start getting darker and darker. Why? Like I said, would the white man say that the Indians called them paleface? Even in the little movies, paleface. How can paleface call paleface paleface? Somebody had a difference in color. We done confused history with racism and prejudice. I'm not bright enough to be a chief. Well, my grandfather and them must have thought I was, and my family must have thought I was. They didn't pick you if you bright. I'm here, you not. But one thing I'm not doing, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. And I read in the Bible also, it said a person will believe a lie before they believe the truth. And we are playing into those games of believing lies before the truth. We need to have field trips to archives and really study. I heard one of the people, I'm not going to call your name and give you no credit, but y'all that know, one of the people that tried to steal the name of the tribe and try to destroy me and lie on me had his nerve to tell somebody else, can you tell me, are you kin to Pierre Jose? So I know you out there in the back listening and talking and asking questions. But it ain't like it was when you came the first time, baby. You snuck up on me before while I was trying to be a person and help you like Indians really did and still do. We helped the people that came to America. That's why I know the other Indians something missing, because they don't want nobody else to have nothing. And if that was the spirit of the Indians of America, there will be no America. But we do help people, and I try to help them crooks. Now they trying to figure what I'm doing on this platform. And do anybody know who kin to Pierre Jose? Are you kin to Pierre Jose? Well, let me tell you what. You asked the question, let me answer it for you myself. No, the person that you were talking to is not Pierre Jose grandchild. And neither are you. And neither are your associates. And next time you steal like your white counterpart, make sure something is in the container correct before you steal the container. I've been telling y'all they steal lies. Oklahoma been talk. We talk. Mississippi been talk. Now everybody's shot. Wait a minute. You had dementia? Y'all had generational dementia? You didn't know that you were shot? Now everything is in the spirit of the shot. You right. Y'all don't understand the Indian world. Like the other little group that's wanting to know about Pierre. Remember, they are my ancestors. And when you're calling on them with me, you're uniting the force. Keep calling them. They coming. You see how the truth coming out? Keep calling my ancestors to your assistance. That go from out here off the reservation of Oklahoma. Call them. And their spirit is going to usher us in. And their spirit is going to usher forth the truth. Today we have the internet. Information moves fast. I just had a young man today tell me, we don't even rely too much on the newspaper. And Mr. Waldo, you heard the young man talking to me. He has a young family. Don't rely on the newspaper. They're not relying on the news. They say, I go to YouTube or I come to some of y'all channels and I get the best news. It's good that we're telling the truth and people can come. And we need to make a list of good platforms. And y'all welcome to send me the list, Phoenix, Finding Our Feathers. Send me a list of channels that's researching. I mean, dissecting these things that we cooking. Because, man, we cooking. And it's being served up by people like Phoenix Moon. She is really serving it up. So, when we serving you these dishes about the prison, how many people are you teaching that to? Some of y'all need to go teach it to your pastors at church so he can stop asking y'all to vote for the same people that is keeping the prison system going. Are y'all with me? Okay? Some of the same people benefiting off of that old game, and we need to shut that door. And say, I once was blind, but now I see. Someone texted me that the other day. Someone put it on the page. It's time to let them know we're not dumb. And it's time to let them know we're unifying in peace. Okay? To tell the truth. Now, you know when you're unifying peace, that's more powerful than being radical. And we're doing it dignified. We're educating our people. So they stop being angry about the wrong thing and angry with the wrong people. I want to see some fire now that y'all know that Black Europeans played a major part and Creoles played a major part in where we are suffering at right now. They look like us. They think like us. Y'all with me? You know, Chief Warhorse is like this. I know a lot of people don't like Chief Warhorse, but I'm not sitting on this platform for you to like me because you can't make me a chief. I'll take me from being a chief. And you better hope I stay here, especially the ones that's call themselves better recognized. Because the next generation coming after me, they are not talking what I'm talking. They talking another kind of talk. You want to know what it is? They're talking, they want their stuff. Yeah. I'm saying let's sit down to this table and talk and make peace. But stop trying to make me look like I'm a liar, knowing you lying. Why would the Oklahoma tribe have to send some children to Mississippi to get some information to teach them about their culture if they were living in their culture? I don't need none of those so-called federally recognized tribes to teach me nothing. Okay? If I want to dance like Asians, I'll go to Asia. If I want to lie like the white man, they got enough of them in this country. I don't have to go to them for it. You know what you don't like about me? Because I just tell it like it is. I didn't come out of a hole. I came from people who taught me my history. And if you did come out of a hole, they should have been teaching a class down in there hole on what's going on or who you were. You want Washington to teach you who you are. You want Washington to take and make your people healthy. You want Washington to do everything. What do you do for yourself? You done everything to hinder us as people of color, as Indians, and we still function. Come on now. Something's wrong right there. Only thing it did was made us stronger and wiser. If y'all are understanding me out there, I'm looking at the monitor. Send me something with some pictures instead of words that I don't have to read on, some put these eyeglasses on, but let me hear you understand what I'm saying. Let's do it this way. If you love what I'm saying, I ain't say love cheap. If you love what I'm saying, send me some hearts. You can send some hearts and fire. Because we got people in the back room reading the chats and watching the shows. Let's leave something for them to talk about. Light it up. Because you still got people look like us, playing the game for the white man, thinking they're going to let them in the door, and they're not. Didn't you hear Tom Akelin sit here on the stage and say, they don't listen? See, they have to listen to the white man exactly. But what the white man didn't know, that was blacks that was trained by whites. And they think they know more than the white man right now about the game. No. White man created that game. He masters it. That's his game. I'm just trying to understand it. But I know one thing. A house divided does not stand. In America, we all live in it. We tried that the Indian go to the reservation and get away from the white man game. Did not work. We better learn to get along in this country together because I'm not planning on going nowhere. So you just will get used to me. We like baby kids, y'all know that. We multiply. Don't be dying. And they're talking about the drugs on the Indian reservation house, wiping them out. Well, if all you're doing is lying and conniving and not taking care of the kids on the reservation, I'm sure. But I want people to know that's not everybody. Everybody's not out there on meth. and drugs. Sometimes you need to think about, they say idle mind is the devil workshop. Maybe they mind too idle. They don't have to go to work because they get a check from the government. Their mind is too idle. Put them to work. They don't have to worry about their next million's gonna come from. They know they're gonna go to the United States and say, y'all took our land and we don't know how to do nothing and we need, and then they write them some more $1 million checks. Okay? Instead of training the kids to have that creative mind to survive if everything shut down. That's not what's happening. There's a welfare system. And it was a welfare system for those Confederate soldiers and their families. And don't let nobody take your pride and tell you you don't have Indian grandparents. No, everybody that's brown is not Indian. Everybody that's dark brown is not Indian. Okay? Everybody white doesn't mean they're from Europe. They might be partially. They may have some Indian blood. But I think if America want to start the record right, we need to hear how those other people got their recognition, state and federal. Louisiana just said the other day to itself, they don't have a criteria. Washington didn't have a criteria, but the criteria was to keep people who look like us out. One of the things we were watching a while back, things Mr. Waldo with the Lumbee, the lady said herself, she federally recognized, but she said they gatekeepers not doing their job. Well, who are they gatekeepers? We don't have no gatekeepers. The history they're teaching is lies. And when you keep teaching lies, you weaken your nation. People out there telling me they don't like America. Well, if you don't like America, leave. I love this place. I love this land, no matter what it's called. This is our land. Why would you destroy the only place you ever knew, the only place you have to live? Even if you came to these lands, it's all you have. It's like a battered marriage. You're beating down the country that you say you love. Or you're loving the country and beating it at the same time. It's not going to grow strong like that. It's going to grow weak. It's already weak. Other countries don't even respect us. It's enough we got lying politicians. Why should the people have to follow in and be liars too? I'm going to ask Phoenix if you have anything to say. Can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. What I'm trying to tell y'all, we got to take this real. It's not a game. The history is the wealth of this country. The trees they have cut, the oil they have drilled, the shells, the salt. Why did they come in this country and strip it? Somebody said they had a question. Jalen Johnson, type your question on there. When it come by, I'll try to answer it. Or if you want to do call-in, I'll give y'all a call-in number. 1 second. Call-in number 1-786-480-3780. Y'all have the number? And I want y'all to know, once I'm not on air, this here don't, I don't use this number when I'm on here. Come on. So there's no need calling it when I'm over like somebody did last time. Anybody want to call in? The number is 1-786-480-3780. Someone want to call in with a question? Jayla, you can dial that number. Okay. What I'm saying is, why was it so important to lock the history up and not put it in the history book? But it's locked up in archives. Who is it for in archives? Who get to see it besides the paper bugs? It's the white folks that work in archives. It's not helping us. It's not helping us to better understand this country and how to help heal it because it's sick. Yesterday, there was a shooting in Ohio. 2 children killed, 1 injured at school. Sick. We're creating so much hatred and anger. Okay, I ain't gonna see what's up.
Jalen said, my family is from Arkansas and they have land patents all through. I was told only Indigenous people were given land patents.
Well, I'm gonna say not only Indigenous people were given land patents because I said earlier, there were Europeans who helped to remove Indians, or you had what they call the homestead patents, that where they gave people land. But I will say this, you're not gonna find a lot of people of color with land patents. Did I answer your question? So your land, if you got land patents, they give you a good chance to start really researching. You have a name to work with. You have, because those things came from the United States government, from the president, whoever signed it, because each president at that time signed their own, the secretary and the treasurer of the United States, to whoever your grandparent is, he or she. And that patent was a contract between them and the United States, that land was sovereign to you. Now, let's not get in this sovereign nation crazy jump. Sovereign meant was you had a place to raise your food. They didn't have Walmart, okay? And so that was your place to raise your food, take care of your family. Now, the sovereign was they wasn't supposed to be able to take your land from you or tax you for your land. Did I answer your question? But they did come up with some laws that helped them to learn how to lie about that and begin to tax you for your land without your agreement. And also, I want y'all to know what land patents were too. Land patent was an absolute title that guaranteed you a right and a voice in America. So if you had land patents, you had a right to vote. Land patent was agreement that you had a piece of America. So you had a voice. That was until they reorganized the electoral votes from being land patent holders to electoral college. That's another topic we'll get into one day. Call number's not working. Okay, let's see why a call number not working. Let's do it this way. It should be working.
Maybe not a 1.
Maybe not a 1. Maybe I turned it off when people was calling me. Let me see. Here we go. Let me see. No, it said it's supposed to be working. I'm gonna get another number. Let's see if this one gonna work. There we go. Should be working from what it's saying here.
Okay, just type it in.
Okay, I'm gonna say y'all type it in because the number ain't working. And she gonna read off your questions. Go for it. I'm even gonna catch your questions. I'm answering. Did I answer Jalen's question, or do you need me to go a little deeper about land patent? I do know there were land patents in Arkansas. I do know Arkansas at one time was part of West Florida. Part of Arkansas was part of West Florida. That's gonna be a topic coming up within a week. Okay. Next week we're gonna be dealing with which country told the truth and who was here. And we're gonna do that one a little live too, because we want to talk about it. I keep telling y'all, Spain and France, they wasn't all that good, but they didn't lie as much as the British and the Americans. Now, you know, I told y'all this before. Now, you know, the America is a baby that was birthed out of Britain. So that's not no different people. So when they say this is America, it still belonged and came through Britain. Are y'all with me? So France and Spain is no longer here. Britain is still here. So the babies of Britain took over this country. The babies of Britain created a lot of fake names. created some tribes, and was very vicious. But America is being as vicious because America promised my grandfather and them one thing. And when I say America, I'm talking about the president at that time. Andrew Jackson made a promise, and y'all know he a liar. His stature shouldn't be nowhere, but to remind us about how he lied. So who got America into this is a lying president. And that's why we got to watch who we voting for. Are y'all with me? It's time to change it. And I don't care if it's a black person, if they're running for office, that don't mean they for us and understand us. And historically, they've been like that. I'm tired of people that don't fear God. And so many people talk about they're Indians, but they don't fear God, but the Indians did. They feared him enough to take care of this earth. These developers is destroying this country. They've been destroying it. They're not building it. They're not saving it. They're destroying it. And they have always destroyed it and took the stuff from here to the other country and rebuilt where they didn't have nothing in their country. The wealth came from here. I'm going to be bringing a gentleman on also who's going to talk about the trees and how they've been destroyed. Now they still destroying the trees and who benefited from the trees. You know, everybody just keep talking about the people, but do you know if you destroy the environment, you destroy all people. So we all should be concerned about the trees. But you're not going to have nowhere to plant a tree after a while because everything's going to be concrete with buildings. And you're getting older. You may not think you're getting older, but you're getting older. And as you get older, you're going to see that the things that you could have done when you was younger, you may not took part to help save your future.
I got a question, but it ain't on here. Can you tell them what we on land patents about how some people groups may have lost their land patents due to war or treatment based on their
Okay. Aina says she wanted me to go into the part that some people may have lost their land patent because a lot of people that had the land patents in the South, they left the South and went north. Some of them seeking work, some of them just trying to get out of here, and left your elderly people back here unattended. And a land patent saved for the heir or assigned is what she wanted me to say. And if you left your people and they assigned someone your land patent, there's a chance you won't get it back because you left your elderly for somebody else to take care of for generation. And they may have signed their land patent over. Then there were land patents that were not legally signed over because someone forced them to sign them over. A lot of the fires and burnings that took place in Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, and even in Oklahoma was to scare people off of their land patents so that they could have a right to take it. And at the same time, the systematic racism wrote laws to justify the Klan's action to burn down your stuff and loot you. Okay. Did I answer what you wanted me to answer?
Yeah, I also want to talk about the ones who may have lost in the Confederacy.
Okay, now she want to go another step. Mr. Waldo, you talking? I ain't here because she said no.
I'm talking about something else, but it made me think of it.
Okay, she said, whatever you talking about, Mr. Waldo, you made me think of this. Some people traded sides, and like Tom Maitland family played both sides. The Confederate side, the Union side, they played everybody's sides. They had about 4 or 5 sides you could play. Well, those people, a lot of them lost their land patents too. They Spanish land grants and French land grants because they got on the wrong side with the battle. So yes, you could have lost access to your French land and your Spanish land because of the side that you were on. Oklahoma lost a lot of the Dancing Rabbit Treaty Agreement because they sided with the Confederates. So when they sided with the Confederates, they lost their right to claim the Dancing Rabbit Treaty, and that's why they constantly talking about the 1866 treaty. Mr. Waldo, if you're on there, if I'm right or wrong, let the audience know if I'm saying it correctly or not. But we realize, when was Oklahoma also brought into the United States? Now we back to 1909. 1909, guys, Oklahoma became a part of the United States of America. Prior to that, that was Indian territory. At 1909, you get the state of Oklahoma. And then people find themselves fighting with the same people we fight with down here. The railroad people and the Pinkertons. And the Pinkertons wasn't nothing but licensed to kill. They were still clans. They just was clans with the right to kill you and run you off your property without suffering any consequences. Are y'all with me? Okay. Aima, is that what you wanted me to answer on that one? Okay, she really wanted to deal with the land because I'm liking you doing that because while she's doing it, I know where she's going. You had people calling people by creating trust. That doesn't work. Whatever you're creating now is not grandfather clawed by law from what was created in the past. Those are historical agreements. And creating a patent now, called a patent deed, or creating some kind of trust does not give you a legal binding document that was with your grandparents and the United States of America. That's something you're creating. And that's one way that you all can tell if someone is trying to con you, is when they come to you telling you about putting together some kind of stupid land patent for this day and time. All right?
Father Feather said, Chief, can you discuss the Haitians and the French in your area?
Well, the New Orleans, and what they call cross the river down here.
And by the way, Mr. Wallace said you are correct.
Thank you, Mr. Waldo. Cross the river and cross the lake. That's two different things. Cross the river, I'm talking about on the other side of Mississippi. Cross the lake, I'm talking about over toward the New Orleans side. Y'all with me? Now, there were a lot of Haitians that came in, but there was a group of Haitians that came in way before that. Fine fellas, that group of Haitians came in like in the 1800s. And Noreen that be with me, her grandfather was from Haiti, and he was a captain of a ship, not a slave ship. So he came in here and he built schooners and was in business making money. So there was business dealings going on with here and places like Haiti. You got to remember, these islands had worked together for thousands of years before the Europeans came and gave titles like Haitian or Haiti to the place. So this was part of the Caribbean islands, and the Caribbean islands been doing business together for a long time. So you got that wave from way back historically of the Haitian black mixture, and then you have the latter years of Haitian groups migrating to here. But one thing I can tell you about the Haitians in New Orleans that's coming in, they speak somewhat the sort of same dialect as the Creoles in this area speak. Okay? So that Creole language here they can communicate pretty good together. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you might also blend how sometimes people can misidentify as Native American.
Well, Haitians can be easily identified, or any islander can be misidentified as being native to over here because of the exchange and trade over the years. And there have been historically marriage and along with the trade business. So our bloods got to have some mixture to it over those thousands of years of trading together. We some kind of way a distant family of each other. Because remember, the West Florida was part of what they call the Caribbean islands, where I'm at. And it also was a part of the Floridas. And so when Spain was here, you got to realize Spain was doing business with all of the islands and us, which means men and women was moving from one island to the other one in business and trade, just like people do today. We got to make people understand that Indians wasn't some ignorant people sitting down weaving baskets and beading something, okay? Those beads came from somewhere, and it didn't come from here. So that's trade right there. That's why when these Indians who call themselves recognized, because they're Indians by United States government. They're not Indians by blood. They're Indians because the United States have enough people up there politically, blood kin to them or friendship, that helps to get them recognized. That does not make you really an Indian. That just make you legally, by United States law, an Indian. That's it. Saying that you can get the benefits that go with that particular position. Now, but if we really look at the way that they have done this game, the money circles back to certain groups, not to the people of color, but it circles back to the people they want to. Like you got China, Japan, white Italians, or whatever they want to call themselves. These people benefit from the reservations more than anybody else. People of color is looked upon as taboo, okay? So that's one reason in Oklahoma they don't want the Indians to dress where their Indian features show. That's why they fall in suits to take down anything that's brown Indians or Indian hairstyle, okay? First of all, you wouldn't have found no white people wearing braids or plaits because their hair not going to stay together, okay? That's the next thing. So when you see these pictures of them braiding their hair and all of this stuff, go to Europe. Look at the pictures of Europe. Just Google it up. Historical hairstyles. So we got people like, you remember this movie years ago when this woman was ranked 10, what her name was? You know, she had the braids in her hair. Bo Derek. She wore braids. That make her Indian or black. So we got to look at, yeah, there are hairstyles. I brought this up. I saw where on something I was watching the other night, this man says, why is all these women of color bleaching their hair to look like a white woman and they know they don't have blonde hair? Well, sorry, fella. There are pictures historically that show there were some Indians in here who had blonde hair.
Still do that.
But let's look at braids and plaits. White folks still ain't got the right thing on what's a braid and what's a plait. Okay?
Will Anderson wants to know, can you speak on I think he's trying to say Shatta that came to California.
A lot of people left here. I can't speak on them as Shatta because let me tell y'all something. I have always used the term Shatta because it's what my grandfather used. Now, so many people are using the term Shatta. Think about it before everybody was saying Choctaw. Don't switch your family history because of somebody else saying something, because you might lose yourself. So if your people said they were Choctaw, say that, because there's a chance your paperwork is going to have Choctaw on it. And I'm not being rude, but stop jumping names. So people who left here and went to California, that was Shatta. Not a lot out of this area because this was the only area that was still using the terminology Shatta. And anyone in this area will tell you that. Everybody else was using Choctaw. If I just crossed right over the Mississippi line, they was using the word Choctaw. Shatta was something only being used in Bonfaka area and that Lacombe area. Now, when I say Lacombe, Lacombe is a town, not a tribe. I want y'all to get that. Lacombe is an unincorporated town. But you're going to learn a lot more next week on that topic, okay? But back to answering you this. People left here going into California for work, just like they went to Michigan and Chicago and everywhere else. They may not left here as an Indian because Indian was not popular. Nobody wanted to be an Indian hardly. We was a butt joke in Bonfaka. Other people was like, oh Lord, they from Bonfaka, they back there in the woods. You know, only time blacks have started really wanting to incorporate this is when someone started the scam of making people think you get something free and you don't pay tax, and all of that was a lie, okay? But most Indians, when they left here and went to California or North, period, especially California, they was classifying themselves as Creoles. So you can look into California, you see more people of color that left the South that classify themselves as Creoles than classify themselves as Indians. Okay? I'm not altering history for anyone. You got people up here with New York, they didn't classify themselves as Creoles. When they get there, they will reclassify themselves as Jews. so they was Jewish. People had a tendency when they leave to go somewhere, they was hiding their identity, especially the apostate blonde, which was passing for white. They were not going to keep a lineage to.
Well, in a sense, they grew up hearing both, so he might have.
He may have.
In the later
That's why I say,
years.
think about what you heard, not what I'm saying or nobody else. And if you heard it, there's chances you came from somewhere back here where people knew their lineage. I'm not trying to discourage what you said. I'm just making everybody understand, think. Because everything I be telling y'all, I'm thinking about what my elders told me. And they told me, don't alter what we said. And I'm going to tell you why they said that. Because the history they passed to you can put you back to where you belong. Okay? So, like, my history cannot put me in Oklahoma. So, I wouldn't be trying to get to Oklahoma. You know, not to say my history there, because my people didn't go there. Pierre José went there. My other grandfathers went and bought supplies and went up there to sign census. And I bet you they was running to get back home. But California is a good place to find relocated Indians from down here. That was one of the major places. California, Michigan, Ohio, Chicago, and also I said earlier, New York. That's some of the earlier places that people took flight to.
Okay, you got a question from Shavana. She she wanted to ask a question. Let me get to it. She said she noticed a lot of islanders have the same last name as United States people, but the question is, she wanted to know why the BIA asks for a lot of information of yourself. Her uncle got his card and he Cherokee Blackfoot and more.
Okay. Let me see if I'm right now. Why do America ask you to put forth so much information to prove who you are? There's a good or bad to that.
But you might have family, I guess.
Yeah, from other people, yeah. But there's a good and a bad for having a criteria, because if you didn't have a criteria, we would have some of these crazy people that's not an Indian trying to claim Indian, like the ones that got recognitions and don't really have Indian. We have a lot of Cajuns even recognized. So my thing is, I think the criteria get harder when they you show them of color. I think the criteria are harder for people of color than it is for whites or Asians to qualify by the criteria. I don't think that's for everybody, because if it was really hard for everybody, a lot of these tribes would not be recognized. So there's some leniency and politics that's playing that part. I also, when I went to visit in Oklahoma, I saw two people in the same family, same parents. One was allowed in the tribe and one weren't, and they were sisters. One sister was in, one sister was out. I talked to one of the people that was high up in the Seminole Nation, and I'm not talking about Mr. Waldo. I'm talking about one of the leaders that's not right now in leadership. And he told me that he had a sister that was a freedman, but then he was a Seminole. So they had different kinds of respect for the two of them. She was looked upon as a freedman because her skin was dark, and he was looked upon as a real legit Indian because his skin was a little more fair. And we're going back to these things on what I said. It's not about black means your skin color is black. Black means black code and you blocked out. Okay? The whiter or the yellower you are, the better chances they may let you in. That does not make them more Indian than you, and it does not make you less Indian than you are. But those are the things that we need to be asking the government to look in and let us know. What is these criteria? And if the criteria that they had for back then, because they keep changing the criteria, so I'm going to be honest with you, I think keep getting rid over and over. And the years of getting closer to you is coming down. I remember when you had to go all the way to the 1800s. Now you just have to go to the 1900s, okay? So we need to be asking these questions in forms of resolutions to the government. And we need to be asking elected officials to get copies of all of the criteria that they have ever used through the BIA. Because I'm not going through the BIA. I'm telling y'all that now. The BIA is the gatekeepers to keep the real Indians and all of us out. But I'm going to answer that next week, why I'm not going that round either. But like I told y'all, I'm older than the tribes that's recognized. That's one good one. Remember that. All these other tribes need to be proven to all of us who are we taking care of. The United States cannot keep taking money from us, giving to some people that's racist and bigots, and we don't know who we are paying. I believe that. If y'all believe the United States owed to tell us how these people get recognized, send some fires and stuff up. Make it colorful. I can see them colors over there. Come on, give me some colors. Davita Carter, I see you got fire. Come on, y'all, join Davita. That's what we need to ask. What is the criteria? And when is it going to stop moving every time a group go in and decide to create their own way to block people?
While you're on that, somebody asked, what do you think about the Mississippi Choctaw tribe now?
Okay, I don't know what you want me to say, but I'm going to tell you like this. They got recognized in 1945. In 1945, we didn't have a civil right nor voting right bill. I know on their symbol there is a Confederate cross. Yeah, so y'all got to start looking for those hidden Confederate symbols. If anybody is by your computer right now, go into Mississippi Band of Choctaw, pull up their symbol. If you see the Confederate flag symbol, come back and let everybody know on screen if I'm wrong. Got all these hidden Confederates. I was looking at a thing the other night with a tribe in Louisiana. They so white, they whiter than Tom Maitland, but now they say they Negroes and they colored and it was too dark to go into stuff, but they brighter than Tom Aitken was. And you know Tom Aitken said he was too dark to go through the front door. So what is considered dark? Okay. Anybody done pulled it up?
While you're on that, go with when they were organized in Oklahoma. While you're on that.
Okay, I said in Oklahoma under that 1866 treaty, that actually was a reorganizing to get another treaty because they had done broke the Dancing Rabbit Treaty. So they had to get them a new treaty. The new recognition came under Nixon. That's around 1971. Is that what y'all want? 1971. These tribes, none of them gonna take you to the 1800s. The civil rights movement older than some of these tribes. And you gotta realize, the civil rights that everybody was talking about, the civil rights leaders, they really did fall and got an Indian right act.
That's the new chief.
Yeah, he's running again for office. No, that ain't what I want him to get. I want him to go to Oklahoma. To Mississippi Band of Choctaw. Pull their symbol up and look at it. And if you look at it, you're going to be very surprised to see hidden messages of who is still in charge. One of my little home babies is out there. I'm not going to call your last name. Reggie, I'm glad you're on with me. You know Chief telling the truth. Thank you for the text message. I love you. And you're representing your auntie by just sending me that message. Thank you very much. That's one of our babies right there. I want y'all to go look at these things. We're not going to be talking stuff we don't know and cannot prove. Because then that's hearsay. And we don't want to be going on no hearsay. Pull up the Mississippi Band of Choctaws.
They said they did.
Y'all did? Okay.
Put the link on there.
All right. Thank you, Phoenix, for putting the link on it. You will see the red thing crossed like this. Secret, undercover Confederacy. So we in America have been taking care of Confederates. Their children, their grandchildren. Right now, Mississippi is trying to go back to bringing out Jim Crow law. If Mississippi win that, I'm sure Louisiana and the other states will be following real soon. We're trying to bring back Jim Crow. While these other people out here talking about Indian websites and doing all this stuff for their hits and writing books, they're not dealing with that. Better deal with it, because somebody trying to get us back to the point where we got to go and do like Tom Aitken family wanted us to do. Work on the plantation for free. If they run the Mexicans home, they're going to have to recruit somebody else to take the Mexican place.
Black Wolf, I just like that title. Chief, my family land was taken by the government. They put an Air Force base on it. what is the chance of my family receiving land or payment for the land being taken?
Okay, if a lot of land was taken by militaries and other government agency, there's a law called eminent domain. Sometimes they can take your land under eminent domain. If you had a land patent that said that your family had the rights to that land, mineral rights and all, then that's another story, because then they couldn't have just taken your land. And if the military took your land and you can prove it, then legally you need to be getting an attorney, not some of these people on the internet, and look into what you can do to recover your land. So that means you need to be talking to congressmen or senators. Don't be talking to these nuts on the internet. They don't know because they don't know how to get their stuff or if they have anything. But I would say take it to your government. All right, will send it to me. I'm gonna try to get this up. Let me get it close. Where am I? There it is. Y'all see them arrows? Confederate. Y'all see it? And they were founded in 1945. If y'all see it, send me some fire. Oh no, send me some arrows, because they got crossed arrows with some drums. There y'all go. Y'all all see it. Now,
Find out that said enemy domain is supposed to compensate you for what they took, right?
that's correct.
But it's a second part.
They can give you square footage prices under eminent domain. But eminent domain does not mean free. Okay?
They killed my
So you gotta go back, see when they took it, what's the dollar value at that time, and all of that. It's a lot of work, but it's worth working on. And it's worth getting with your elected officials. We need to meet more with elected officials than arguing on the internet. Wouldn't y'all like if we bring some elected officials on Cooking with Chief show live so we can get some questions answered? If we have any of them out there brave enough to come on here, because y'all are some tough cookies to stand in front of. I don't know if they're ready for y'all yet. They're not ready for debates against each other. But we need to talk to them about those things. You know, Chief Warhorse, I'll go get the Klans. Donald Trump can come sit in the hot seat if he want to. Because I think he knows some stuff that he needs to tell us
You
too.
don't like them either.
So this is about getting to the truth. And to get to the truth, like the person saying about their land taken, who's responsible to reimburse this person for their land or reallocate you some land somewhere else? Okay? That's some of the things we need to be talking about. That's some of the things I've been wanting for years for us to talk about and unite our power around getting real answers and not this crazy bickering and fighting in these chat rooms with something that's going nowhere but giving people high blood pressure, heart trouble, and all of this junk. Wasted time. Let's use our efforts and show our intelligence and smarts. Because you know we got some smart people that didn't get on meth. Okay?
Somebody want to know if that includes land grant colleges as well.
Land grant colleges is something that you need to look at. Land grant colleges.
No, they took land.
That's what I'm gonna say. Land grant colleges got other people land. I was getting ready to go there. Actually, LSU is sitting on top of a mound. Okay? LSU sitting on top of a mound. Some reason these Europeans, when they wanted something, they will always want to get on top of the Indian mound. Okay? But as we bring out history in these areas, we need to go into places like Alabama and look at the historical places. I would love for to host something in Alabama and bring you guys there and we research and study and dissect. That's the good thing about Cooking with Chief and serving up history. I've been watching you guys. Man, y'all out there finding the ingredients. Y'all picking blackberry with briars all around y'all to get the information. Y'all own it. You know, they getting jealous with the cooking we doing over here. They trying to open up some kind of fast food somewhere. No, baby, we cooking homegrown scrap, coming from the bottom piece, the smallest minute. And then I love the ones that stirring that pot out there. Mr. Waldo got one of them cooking spoons there, and then he come through and he stir it back up. He ain't let nothing settle, baby. Everything cooking smooth. What you got?
What do you think about the Moors? This is a question.
I didn't know what a Moor was until them crazy people came around.
What do you think about the Moors being the Aboriginals?
Again, I ain't know nothing about no more until them crazy people come around here and talk about some kind of Moors. My grandpa was calling them black people who came from Europe Jayhawkers. Black Jayhawkers, white Jayhawkers. I done told y'all that before. My grandfather didn't have no conversation with me about a Moor. Only Moors I knew was some people, their last name was Moore. M-O-O-R-E. Moore. After that, that was their name. But y'all talking about the other Moor. I learned about that when the people came that was already trying to catch a spaceship. And the spaceship and the purple pyramid people that came over here that me and my people ain't know nothing about the pyramid, neither the purple peoples, and we ain't know about no Moors. I ain't know about no Washingtons because if you really check the map and when the stuff get here from, I got some stuff on the way from y'all, for y'all on the way from Spain. You're gonna find out Washington wasn't in this Louisiana. Oh no. Washington way somewhere else.
Just to be clear, do you consider Moors foreigners or do you consider
Foreigners.
Yeah.
Moors are foreigners. Since I done studied them after everybody kept throwing them down my throat. That's black Europeans. From Spain. You know, they would come from these different places where they was getting shortage on food. So they was out trying to find food and riches. And when they came over here, it was wealthy. And the black ones and the white ones raided this place, man. Stop blaming just the white man. And then the next generation of these Europeans wasn't calling themselves Moors. They were calling themselves Creoles, the firstborn of the land. Or they was calling themselves native to America. Oops. Native to America does not mean American Indian. Native to America means those were the people who were born on American soil. Okay? I haven't seen the Moors doing nothing. If they did have it first, how they lost it to Spain and everybody else. What happened is the white Europeans, who they went got to help them steal from us, took and enslaved they behind. That's what I see. Because they came first. You're right. You came first to rob the Indian community. And you went back and got your counterpart. And your counterpart took you to be the first black slaves. Yeah, because it was kind of hard to enslave the Indians on their own land. And that's documented. They tried hard. But you know what? Real Indians are not that greedy. We just want to know we can take care of our family, eat, and have a place to sleep. But when people trying to take all of the wealth and sell even the sand, you know, these white folks sold the sand, the salt. Well, if someone take and sell the salt, you know, salt is the flavor. They sold the salt of the earth to make money. They didn't know what salt was, must be over there. Something wrong, you ship the salt out. You ship the trees off. They done burnt all the trees in Europe down.
Jalen got another question.
Go ahead, Jalen.
So if our ancestors' nationality or race is considered American in the 1700s through the 1800s, does that mean they're Indian?
That can be either or. Because Americans start, first of all, before the European got here, there was nobody calling themselves Americans. Is that a good one? This country was renamed by the European, they call it America. But where I'm living at down here was not America until after 1810.
Just Jalen who had the land in Arkansas.
Okay, Jalen, one part of Arkansas was with West Florida. So it was that was on the tail end of America coming to you. America starts over on the East Coast. America start at the top coming down from Canada. America come down right along with France. No, it does not mean you're an Indian. It can mean that you came down from the America colonies into the lower point, and you will bring the word America down with you because this was France and Spain at one point. So there was Americans coming to France, or American coming to Spain. So you have to watch that word America. America can actually tell you if you are European sometimes. Okay? So that might be the black Moors, which Moors mean black anyway, just like Negro, black. So those are words used to describe people of color. But you have to watch that American one because it gets to be very tricky. Normally with the Indians, they would have said natives a lot. Or they would you will see Negro. You go way back and you start seeing the word Negro. You see Negro Indian, straight up, Negro Indian. We got some paperwork coming. Y'all gonna have a good time next week with me. I want to thank all y'all. Make my own little commercial right now for a little break. But I want to thank all of y'all for helping Chief reach our numbers.
I'm probably kidding.
And I want to thank you all from participating with my page and making it a place where we can have a platform where we all can respect each other, not screaming, hollering, and cussing each other out. But I want it to be a page that we can be very truthful, and sometimes truth hurts. But I want us to be able to bring it if it hurt or not. If it make us feel good, fine. But if it hurt, we still want to bring it on. So I want to take this time to thank you all on that. And next week I'm planning on, man, look, I'm so excited. My team is excited. Y'all just don't know. I'm waiting for next week. I'm fixing to bring you, I'm going to bring you a dish that's a celebrated dish. But then I'm going to bring you a dish that's going to help you to change America or the way you think of America. That's going to be two different dishes.
You bring a healthy dish too.
Huh? I'm bringing a healthy dish. Yeah, I'm bringing a healthy dish. But it's that other dish is the one. Come on.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna ruin her name, Anoki the One.
Okay, somebody, she ruined your name, Anoki the one. She said, she saying it right?
Anoka.
Anoka the one. All right.
But in New Orleans, a lot of us have French blood. This is the question. Well, French ancestry. What is the thoughts about our European ancestors and the benefits of tracing those lineages? Is there a benefit of knowing the European line?
Let's do this. Okay, I'm taking that you from New Orleans or somewhere.
Call it the one.
The one. She say the one. I'm taking that you from across that lake. Across that lake is a gumbo by itself, baby. They have some of everybody from anywhere in the world you want to come that's been through New Orleans. But let me tell you about if you're coming from the historical points of New Orleans. You know, in the United States, everybody's under common law state. We under the Napoleonic law state because there is still a part of that French tie.
She said she back to the 1400s on her genealogy.
I'm sure you can get there because if you with the French, this is what I was trying to say, or with the Spanish in New Orleans area, you stand a chance of going back to the beginning of the doctrine of discovery when people first start coming over here, which give you a deep root. And I'm gonna be honest, if you can go that far back, there's a strong possibility you have native blood in you because of that long tie and relationship of business. Now,
She said she's from St. Tammany and Slaughter.
well, if you're from St. Tammany and Slaughter, you must be from everybody else. Now you done took me all the way across the water to bring me back over here. Come on now, one. Okay, the one. You may have French blood over here too. And you have a chance of having Spanish blood. Did you come from which bayou you came from? And I want people to understand, Lacombe is a town, not an Indian village. It is a township. Okay. Did your people come from Montfaucon? Did your people come from the Lacombe town? Don't come with that Lacombe Choctaw, because that was created by Peter Cousin and them. Don't even go in that direction. So for me to help you, I need to know your last name. And don't put it on this screen. So what you do is you get with me. Because baby, do I know the names over here for the French, Spanish, and the Indian community, okay? And if Chief see what you're dealing with, I'll tell you which route to go. Your benefit from France is this. I seen the governor just got some money to put into, and I'm being honest with you to the T. If they just got money to give to the Homer Indians in them to build a French school to preserve their language, then what you need to be doing is in Lacombe area, y'all can say French is a second language to the community, as well as Spanish once were. So one thing we all could do if we can get on one accord is insist that we get a school that teach French and Spanish. I'm so glad that I fought years ago because so much of our documents was in Spanish. I fought here with the school system with some great people of both colors, and we brought in Spanish classes. And that helped my oldest daughter to end up being, she speak it fluently. Y'all will get to meet her later. But speak, write, and whatever with the Spanish. Well, that same thing need to be done with French. And since Governor Edwards went to France, spent all that money to bring a school back to the Homer side of Terrebonne, the Fouche, I think equally because the language of French-speaking Indians was just as equally strong over here. So one thing you might want to work on is trying to get them to bring in a school. That's your starting point. Can create jobs around that. Can create tourism for you to go visit those countries and learn more about your French side of your history. Did I answer that for you, the one?
The one trying to figure out how to contact you, you don't give out your personal stuff, so just tell the contact you do feed it.
All right. Anybody want to reach me can reach me through Phoenix for right now.
We got Gmail. For you.
And I have Gmail. What is it? Okay, y'all go. They're gonna give y'all a Gmail. Cooking with
Chief Show.
Yeah, Cooking with Chief Show. Is that it? Phoenix gonna help get it up there for me. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Phoenix gonna get it up there. Phoenix, if you hear me on there, put whatever it is. Cooking with Chief Show, I think is what it is. Cooking with the Chief Show at gmail.com. I think that's it. But don't take my word. We're gonna wait till she put it up there for us.
I'm just gonna put up your Cooking with Chief Facebook page as well.
Okay, that'll work.
Don't post it on Facebook.
And don't nobody post your information you want me to help you with out there. Cause y'all know good and well you have the lurkers I told y'all that's on there. And the lurker's gonna grab your stuff and then I ain't gonna know you from the lurker. So I don't wanna put your information out there and I'm not gonna do it. Reach me through that back page, okay?
It is Cooking with Chief Show.
It's Cooking with the Chief Show.
No, not the Cooking with Chief Show.
Cooking with Chief Show. Sorry about that. Okay, Phoenix got it up there. She got the Facebook up there. And I will communicate with you that way. One thing I want y'all to do, stop giving these people your family trees and information. You ain't got to worry about me. I don't want to steal none of y'all trees because I have to go fix it because it ain't fixed. My tree is in good shape for me. So I'm not out looking to steal your tree, your information. I'm not trying to start a tribe and look for membership. So let Chief, I'm not telling y'all call me no grandma because I'm not, I'm already got 2 grandbabies. But I'm gonna be like a grandma to you. You heard the word, like a grandma. I'll give you some advice. Good advice, yes, like a grandmother.
LL Lewis, why you don't grandmother stuff? My people live in Wynn Parish, Jackson, etc., under Louisiana. Is that an area the Shatta tribe chief was? I think he's trying to say is that an area?
Let me tell y'all.
Wynn Parish, Jackson.
After next week's show, y'all trying to mess me up. Okay, after next week's show, you're gonna know a lot of stuff that's gonna help y'all. If we're gonna go into this thing a little deeper. We dealing with the root. So I'm gonna take y'all to the root next week. Cause the junk we fixing to cook up for this year, we must lay the root down right. So next week I'm gonna lay the root down. I'm gonna show you just how to make that root. Then you start seeing what was put in the pot to see if you're getting a pork chop and brown grape. Chicken and brown grape. Brown grape goes in a lot of stuff besides gumbo. So we're gonna find out what that brown is. Are y'all with me?
A couple of your people banned from Facebook. Do you have your Gmail?
Okay, a couple of my people that's banned.
They banned from Facebook.
From y'all stop getting banned on Facebook. What do y'all do? Y'all better stop that. Okay, those that's banned on Facebook, you can get me through my email address that I just told you.
I think they want it again. Which one?
Cooking with Chief
Show
at gmail.com. Did y'all get that? Cooking with Chief Show at gmail.com. We gonna have fun. But even if you get banned, do that. Let me know so we'll find another way to communicate with you. We ain't gonna leave nobody out there. And for those who came on and addressing me as an empress, I'm not being rude. I'm not an empress. Okay, but I am a queen. Y'all gonna find some more out about that later on too. But I'm not an empress. My grandfather never told me about being an empress, but he did talk about princesses and queens, and my family don't think it's crazy when I say I'm the queen's granddaughter because I got cousins out there older than me that know I'm not lying, and they know about Pierre José since we were kids. And why I never brought my grandfather's name up is because of like them crazy people that came and tried to steal my identity and like the other crazy people that got better recognition and don't know how to get it. So now I'm telling you some stuff because I think we got to move forward real quick on a lot of things, and it's time to shut down the lies on both sides. Be it a black lie or white lie, it's still a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna bring about some truth. Somebody say ask the chief. I see that, but I don't see what they asking me. can't see what they was asking me. Just say, ask the chief. Okay, come back and tell me what you're asking me. But I want y'all to understand. Don't let nobody take advantage of you no more. Don't let anybody disrespect you anymore. And you ain't got time to argue with people who are from the Mexican communities that telling you you're not an Indian and go back to Africa. They the least people should tell somebody to go back somewhere because they building a wall on their behind. And I'm not being rude. At least nobody is not trying to build a wall on us.
I think they calling this segment Ask the Chief.
Okay. Oh, y'all calling the segment Ask the Chief? I'm just being honest. And I'm always controversial. Been up like this since I was a kid. So I'm just being honest. So the Mexican community should not make enemies of us because we are allowed to keep you in this country. I was watching the news this morning. They still talking about building a daggone wall. Now Biden want to build a wall. Everybody said Trump was crazy, but now Biden said, wait a minute, maybe Trump had a good idea. We got to build that wall. We might be your only ally. Because they don't want you here either, because you brown. And if you're brown, you can't stick around. Okay? If you're yellow, you might be a little mellow. Yeah, that's what Dr. Lowry said. And if you're black, just get back. And if you're white, you're right. Find out which one of them you fall under. But I'm not here to play no race games with people who is Hispanic. You hear I did that? Which means you got a root from Spain. So what make you more pure than anyone else? Yeah, I'm being mother hen. Stop picking on my babies about race. All the names you've been called that I done offended people with and say, don't call them out their names. And y'all, I'm looking at y'all throwing bad vibes and I'm reading this junk. Y'all was mad when they were calling y'all wetbacks and everything else. Now y'all on the internet throwing nigger words. Do you know nigger just means black? And they want to build a wall and pick y'all back over. You know, come on now. Why are you running from your country if it's so right? Why are you running to America if it's so wrong? Everybody run over here and then they pitch bones about over here. But the people that's brown skinned is who built this country. And they the one who fought for the civil rights bill that you climbing over the walls and digging under the walls to get some representation. And I have right to say it as a civil rights leader. Don't go to throwing those stones when you live in a glass house. Because we got some mighty men over here that can pitch a stone back and break your glass wall. So the racism need to stop. It's time we come together and see how to build a safe place for all of the children and seniors. They shooting up the children in school. The Hispanic community on here fighting with the people of color. The fake Indians on here fighting.
They crying too, because they've been lied.
It's time we resolve this war that's within America. Okay?
Five Nine Feathers, Chief, have your people ever had any dealings in East Florida? Tune in the next show.
East Florida, West Florida. We got a show coming for y'all. I promised y'all that. I came on here because I see all these people battling and bickering and trying to jam y'all up, and I just want to let them know. They need to be in the house next week.
Tell them they better tell somebody.
Okay, get your popcorns next week.
Tell somebody to tell somebody.
Mr. Waldo said he'll live to fight again. Facebook.
Well, Mr. Waldo, when you get out, okay, I try to post your bond. I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all y'all in Facebook jail, if I could post your bond, I would have got y'all, but I don't know how y'all got in there. Y'all been fighting them people that's fighting y'all. But just what I want y'all to do. This year, you ain't got no reason to go into Facebook jail. Because we're going to be so busy over here cooking and serving up stuff. And they got other ways for us to get information out besides Facebook. So if Facebook shut us down, we got some intelligent black person that write programs. Somebody going to come with a program. So if Facebook keeps shutting us down, why they ain't shutting down people over there that's putting all that junk I see on Facebook and they still letting them go out there? Come on now. Why shut the door on our people? They got some filth over there on Facebook. Sometimes I go on Facebook, I'll be like, dog. Look, my daughter said, don't even go there because it's just that bad. So I know good and well Mr. Waldo ain't done nothing that bad. Pope Phoenix, she stay in Facebook jail, so she got a daggone, what they call that thing when you go in and out of jail? She a repeat offender thing. Mr. Waldo.
You know, this Anuki got some good questions. She said, Anuki the one, going back to the one, what are your thoughts on becoming a foreign entity instead of an American citizen and changing our status from being black?
I'm not offended by being black. Since they gave it to me, that's why you hear my records. So I'm deal with it. I am a dual citizen already. And I like being a dual citizen. And my people have been American now for 7 generations. So that's like if someone moved to another country.
Foreign citizen, so like on the other side of what, you know, all these people trying to do.
I'm not a foreign citizen. I'm this my land.
Or trying to give up their citizenship.
No, I'm not giving up my citizenship to the United States, neither my tribe. It's been there for this long. And if I was you, I wouldn't give up my citizenship either. Because if you give your citizenship, then you're a person without a land. So then when you're a person without a land, you don't have nowhere to go. And then if you do that, also giving up your citizenship. I have naturalization law on my side. I am naturally born to this soil. And there is an act called the Naturalization Act. Anybody know it? Give me some fire. And this is what they're trying to trick you to do, is to get rid of your citizenship naturally. Nobody can take your natural citizenship, but they can get you to denounce it. Do not denounce your citizenship. Okay? This is your country. All right? So why would you denounce the citizenship? So don't let none of these little games they doing. Okay, I see some fire. I see some people that understand what I'm saying. And for those who ever ask anyone to give up their citizenship, they are working for somebody that's turning you against your country and against yourself. Because you don't have nowhere to go. Okay? And those people may not care because they may not have nothing. So they don't mind using you for a guinea pig to give up citizenship. No, this is my country. I'm not going nowhere. And I'm not a foreigner. I'm a natural born to America and I'm natural born to my tribe. Dual citizenship. Okay, I see y'all getting it out there. That was a scam that these white supremacists put into these black people's head, and they was out there pushing it. Did y'all hear Tom Lakeland say about it in here? If y'all have not seen it, go back and watch Tom Lakeland 1 and 2. That's what I'm liking about this platform. I thank my daughter, Mr. Waldo, and Phoenix, and I just thank them over and over. I don't have to go back and teach that whole show. Go back, Tom Lakeland 1 and 2. And Tom Lakeland 1 and 2 is letting you know what the game is. Now, we're going to do some shows on this naturalization because black folks better not give up their citizenship. That's all you had. You naturally born here. And they marked you off as Negro. So, Negro means black, and I don't know what making people mad about black. What you need to be worried about is black criteria have not given you your rights. So they put you under that, and they took your right. So the only way to get respect is to make people who have black and Negro get their proper respect in America, because there was laws put in place to put you in a category where you could not excel in America. Stop being ashamed of black and Negro. That's your paycheck.
You got 2 questions.
They owe you for that.
I got 2 questions right now. I'm gonna give you the last question first, okay? But ain't black a reclassification like African American?
No.
And that answer that.
There is no laws or bills under African American, but whatever they did put after 1988. But there is a black code which costs you to suffer and lose everything. So who belong underneath that law that was used against them? Under the black code have a right to go to the United States to right that wrong. Whoever was under the Negro Act has a right to go to America because of the law that stuck them under the Negro Act. See, this Chief Warhorse coming with you now. I'm not trying to write no book. I could have wrote a book a long time ago. I could write a book to tell you what I'm telling you. I'm coming to you straight and factual because y'all been being misled for too long.
Now, Noki the one, once again, she says, should we study the Constitution more if we get that right?
Study the Constitution. There's a lot of protection within the Constitution that we are not using. Study the Naturalization Act. Read the Negro Act. We putting it on the page, on Cooking with Chief page, some stuff that y'all really need to look at. Use the Cooking with Chief Facebook page. Well, the rest of y'all, when y'all get out of jail, y'all can do it too. But that's gonna be the textbook, okay? So I'm gonna drop that stuff in there. And then when you learn, I want you to tell other people, because these were things that was not in your school book. And then we're gonna be doing some historical things together. It's nothing wrong with them calling you black. Black marked you and locked you into a zone that they owe you your respect. Negro locked you into a zone. See, the black, I told y'all, that came from the English-speaking colony, black. Spanish-speaking colony, Negro. Y'all with me? Both of them was calling you black. They even called the Indians Negro or black. So don't let that be the shaming point. And if you denounce your citizenship, now you done broke the treaty of yourself. Now you don't have a voice to speak in America because you're no longer a citizen of America. So as not being a citizen of America, you stand a chance of being deported. To what foreign land of the African Americans is there? Now they just made Jesse Jackson the king of African Americans. And they building something over there in Africa for African American for the King Jesse Jackson. Now you set yourself up in that mess, you'll be the first export to the African American continent. And that's a repeat of history of what they did before in the 1800s. When they get scared of black folks, they create a colony. And then that's where you go. So if you denounce your citizenship to America, you go into that colony most probably. Because Africa looking for somebody to come make them rich and build their country. Like they say they built America. Whoa, I don't want to be in that number. Don't take that chance. Yes, look up the Indigenous People Act for the UN. Stop trading places, because what you're going to do, them Indians, that's not the real ones. They got recognition because they daddy and uncles was legislators and congressmen and governors and senators and mayors. And they were able to vote for their people to be recognized as American Indian by them having the connection in which they use that to their advantage. Well, those same people are setting up a trap for people who want to denounce America, okay? So that you be gone. Love America, learn the history. I told y'all on the show with Rudy. A lot of people, I'm not picking with everybody, but I'm telling y'all the truth. Because if you're too big, you can't run. And if you heavy, don't be picking no fight and you can't think. It'll be like that thing I saw they had on YouTube. Y'all saw the one with that lady stole a man gun and she be running? And he running up ahead of her laughing at her? Don't do that. Don't you do it. Before you get in a fight, you better get physically fit. Every time a fighter go to fight, he go through training. My grandbabies playing ball, they going through training. Don't be jumping on this internet, picking no fight and get punched hard and get knocked out because you're not physically and mentally fit for the fight that you done jumped into, okay? Now, here's what I will tell you. Learn as much as possible. Get healthy physically. Because all of this on the internet, fighting and battling, it causes high blood pressure, diabetes, ulcers, and cancer. So you have to learn how to fight and be laughing while you're fighting. You know how Muhammad Ali, he made a joke, told him what round he was going to knock him out in and all this junk. Because he studied his opponent. And he knew right where to hit him and what round he wanted to knock him out in. That's what you have to do with your knowledge. Fight like Muhammad Ali. Okay? Use this before this. All right? Serious?
Curtis T says,
When is that the Curtis T I know?
That's why I said Curtis T.
Okay, Curtis T, you on here?
Yeah, he said, thanks for the lesson.
Thank you, Curtis T.
And somebody asked, Vicky asked, do you have any connections to South America with the Mayans and Aztecs?
Next week's show, we're going to talk about Mayans and Aztecs and all of that. But I did a recording with some people from Bolivia, and it was a thing where I told you all they brought 3 different groups together from 3 different places, and we compared history, but we're going to get to that too, okay? Now, back to Curtis T. Curtis T, you know good and well I'm not putting on no show. They don't know this the way I talk all the time. If there ain't but two of us at the house and you come by, you know I'm not putting on no show. Okay, Curtis T? I got you, Curtis. There you go. Thumbs up to you too. So, I'm gonna make y'all laugh. That's my godchild. Look at him on there. That's what it is. My godchild. He's grown. And he know I mean business about studying. Curtis T, if I mean business, let him know. Send them some of them thumbs up so they know you're there. Okay? You know what? I'm able to bring people that grew up around me to hear me, not be nobody else but me. We don't even know half of these people here be fighting on the internet. That's why I don't want y'all fighting no ghosts. I ain't fighting no ghosts. Okay? And that's what y'all need to start telling some of them when y'all don't know who they is. Not fighting ghosts. Can't change nothing fighting. The ghost can't hit nothing I can't see. So then the ghost make you look stupid. Okay? Swinging at something you can't hit. A lot of these people, you don't even know their real name. Hey, I'm out here. That is my name. And I'm proud of it. And you can look me up. We up here dealing with people who don't know what their name is. They might live next door to you and you won't even know. Floating butterfly and flying bee live next door to you. You don't know. Because you know them as Harry and Lucille. So stop fighting things you don't know what it is. You ain't got time for that. And that way you'll clear up your mind to do productive stuff. When they on there aggravating you, ask them to go visit the local parks or something, or go to archives and leave you alone. Because you got other things to do with your energy more positive. Because you see, when they draw that weak energy into you, now they draining your strength. And you need to tell them get off you because they ain't nothing but bloodsuckers. Y'all hear me? Leeches. They got leeches lurking on here now, waiting on y'all to say something or for me to say something. Then they got to run to their page like they just had a thought. You know, that's what the white people been doing. Black people doing it too now. That's right, black white people. Go ahead.
LL Lewis once again, Chief Warhorse, is the Choctaw connected to the Muskogee, Cherokee, or Seminole people at all?
Yeah, in a way. Because first of all, there's no such as a Muskogee tribe. Muskogee is a language. And the Choctaw and the Creeks, we all the same people. It was the European divided our families up. And that's why I don't understand why they all in Oklahoma still don't get along there either. So they created a mess out here, and that mess is in Oklahoma. We once was in the same Confederacy, not no Confederate soldiers, that one, but our Confederacy of the unity. And the white man took his Confederacy from our Confederation of us working together as a family. And we need to get back to doing that. And under that Confederation, we fed black people and white people. And they took our stuff. This time we're gonna feed them. But at the same time we're gonna feed them, we're letting them know, you go there acting stupid, I'm gonna feed you with a long handle spoon, I'm gonna pitch it over the fence to you. And I'm here to tell the people that, I wanna go back to this, the Hispanic community. Don't fight us, we didn't take your stuff and send you over there. You need to be sitting down with us because we the same people if you're a Mexican Indian. If you say you own land over here, that means you saying you was an Indian first before the Spanish people mixed with you. So we shouldn't be your enemy. We all should be an ally to getting the truth out so that you can get respect to your land that you once had over here. But you so busy wanting to lower us down and beat us down, and you can't even figure the top from the bottom and the butt from the head for your daggone self how to get your junk back straight. Over here picking with us. Go over there. I don't speak Spanish. My daughter do. Go over there and use Spanish language and use that to organize your people. Y'all are some powerful people. But don't use it on us. Because at least we still here. They pitch your butt over the thing and now they're trying to put a fence on you. No, we changed that. A wall.
They knew their rights, they wouldn't have a fence.
That's right. No, they wouldn't have a wall. It got worse than a fence as a wall. So racism need to stop. And we need to come to the table with the people for what's right against what's wrong. Use our voting powers collectively to talk to our legislators. Use the history we all have learned from our people and teach the history to the next generation. Preserve some of the stuff to keep the developers from destroying the history and the facts. That's what we need to be doing. I'm not here for nobody to judge if I'm an Indian or not. I really don't care what they think I am. Okay? I know who I am.
This is interesting. This is Anoki again.
Anoki, me and you started to be friends over here. Come on here.
What do you think about the spiritual side of our heritage?
I think
Thoughts on voodoo, hoodoo.
that's not
How
ours.
can we learn our indigenous
Lord,
spiritual
that's not ours, baby. They brought that junk here with them. That junk come from the other part of the islands in Africa, and they can take that junk back. That is, don't let nobody tell you. That is ours. We don't need voodoo nor hoodoo. When we got God, we got it all, baby, we can do. So you better leave hoodoo and voodoo alone. That junk backfires on them people and kill them. Leave that junk alone. It ain't good for you. But a good talk with God will get you there. Take my word. I'm 63 years old. I don't know nothing about no voodoo. I don't know nothing about no hoodoo. But I do know who been doing for me. And it was God Almighty. And he ain't into that. I ain't counting no beads or none of that. Count beads. Beads can't hear me nor help me. My grandpa used to say, don't let your wooden god, corn cob, fool you. See, that's what the Indians say. Don't let your wooden god, corn cob, fool you. That's what them people who got them little wooden gods praying to them, and it ain't doing that because it's gonna fool them. I'm on. Okay, I got somebody on air. Okay, you call in. I'm gonna take you since you called in. I don't. Oh my God. Okay, on air. Let me introduce you. She's on air. Okay, y'all. I have a very good friend who worked with me for a long time. She know good and well I don't put on no jokes. And see, she wasn't even calling to go on air. She know I'll do that. I sure were. But she know I'll do that. I have nobody else but a lady that served as my secretary for a long time and my good friend that marched, protest, everything. I wanted to bring her on air for y'all to meet her, but since she called in, she's on air. Her husband is an imam, the only imam around here that I know of anyway. And he been here since the 60s around through here. She's been there with him, so they still together. So that means something worked out in all these years, because she was fighting civil rights too. But she know one thing. I'm not fake on this thing. I'm not doing nothing new for y'all. I'm just being me. Am I right, Bill?
That's right. Good evening, everybody.
And she telling y'all good evening. So we have Theonette, my secretary and friend on here. We have traveled up and down the road, just the two of us, just as crazy. We went picket Ku Klux Klans together. She know that. We done had guns on us, and the person that's about voodoo and hoodoo just not there. That I told them we ain't got time for no voodoo and no hoodoo around here. We got God. No. That's the tradition of us.
You put God first, yourself second, and everything else third.
Yeah. So we went around picket in Pearl River when black folks wasn't even in Pearl River, but two people that lived there, and they've been there so long that people thought they was the token of towns, but I ain't call them a token, but that's what they were. They didn't pay no attention. They looked at white to the white people.
That's right.
And we took our behinds up there, me, her, and two more women that was with us.
That's a show.
That's a show?
Yeah.
Okay, even said we're giving away a show, but I'm gonna tell them this. We went, look, they said, no, don't get that show away. But I'm just giving you a taste of it.
Oh, okay.
We marched where guns was, and God brought us through. That's why she can still call me on the phone. They know I done did the stuff.
That was a blessing all around, because some of the stuff that was going on then, if we had known it, we wouldn't have been up there bound.
And always when we come back, we find out, the guns wouldn't shoot. What guns? The ones that was on the building and in the cars. So what y'all get to see is Cooking with Chief. My people glad that I'm back out here doing shows. But what I'm doing with you all on air is what I used to do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And sometime on Saturday, live. So y'all just getting to get me on the internet, on the platform. My people have always had me for the talk, just the way I'm talking to y'all now. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she might have a question not for air, but she called to ask a question.
I do. I have a question. I was putting a class together, and the question to me was, during the educational time, in New Orleans, 130 years ago, what were children learning in school? Everybody that I know was not back in that time. So I figured you might know somebody.
130 years ago, what was being taught in New Orleans school?
Yeah.
Okay, well, 130 years ago, the schools was by the Catholic Church. And they were being taught Catholicism. They were being taught how to do housework, people of color. They were being taught, and I'm just being honest with you, how to serve your master still.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were being taught to sew clothes, you know, so they could make clothes for people. So it was a part of building an industry, not helping you to excel yourself. But in New Orleans, 100 and some years ago, were also free people of color. And they also.
That would have been in the 1800s, right?
You had free people of color, and a lot of them would leave and go to France and stuff like that and get a full education, people of color. What they had locally for you was much or nothing, but those people that, you know, free people of color was very wealthy in New Orleans, a lot of them, because they was the Creoles. So they would go back to their people's country and get education there and then return. Father Roquette was one of those people who left and went back to France, him and his brother, Dominique, got an education and then came back to the New Orleans area. So a lot of the Creoles went off for education.
All right. That's
Well,
what I wanted to know.
All right.
So I was on the right track, and I thank you, but this was a big surprise.
And you know, now my audience get to know this. My people can call me 24/7, ask me questions, and they expect me to have the answer. And that's the way I want y'all to be out there in the audience. You have to be where you people say, look, I'm gonna pick up the phone, call my leader. And the leader have to have the right answer, not the wrong answer. Okay, guys?
That's right.
Because it happens to me all the time. My people gonna call me.
I know you said they were in the first
Thank
to go to
y'all.
Howard.
Bye, people.
She said bye. Y'all will get to meet her on the show.
Didn't you say they use the newspapers too?
Newspapers was used for education. Yeah.
I know you said, is it true they were one of the first to go to Howard, and that is true? You had
Yes.
lawyers, doctors, some of the first hired.
Another show, Howard University is a show by itself, gonna freak y'all out. Well, we're gonna be busy all this year, cooking and serving it up, okay? Got a surprise behind Howard University for you. Good topic, okay? We're gonna take that page, we're gonna have stuff, kids are gonna be able to go to that page, get lessons to go back to their schools and their reports, okay? Because when you turn the light on, roaches run. So this show's about turning the light on so the roaches run, okay? Roach like darkness, you gotta bring it to the light. And you know roaches like to come out when you have guests. So turn the light on, and when your guests come, turn the light on from the porch throughout the house so the roaches run before your guests come in. That's all I can tell you. So that's what we fixing to do. Because we fixing to bring some guests in here, okay? Now, I'm hoping you all enjoying the show. I'm not going to keep y'all all day because next week we might have 2 good shows. And I don't want to keep y'all all night. And I want to thank the person who suggests we do 2,000 last time. But do you know how it was to get that 1,000? And you're going to go to my, now let's go to 2,000. I'm like, oh, it was hard getting to 1,000. Whoever you are, thank you very much for saying that because we're going to get to that 2,000. We're going to get there. But we ain't gonna put no pressure on nobody to
Before
get
you
it.
go, Jeremiah Myers, he been trying to contact you for a while, but we've been.
Who is it?
Jeremiah. He wants
Is
to
it my
know-
Jeremiah?
No. He wants to know, do you know anything about the mounds in Baltimore, Maryland, and located in Baltimore?
Okay. See, y'all trying to make me do my shows before time. Listen, that's what I'm gonna tell y'all. If y'all give me till the show next week, I'ma answer the mounds, all of that, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yes.
Okay? Somebody have a million questions. Who is that? That doggone the one again.
Oh, no.
And okay, the one. Let me explain this to you. I got a million answers. And all my answers, you can go get it factually and back it up. So you keep tuning in, and I'm gonna be answering your questions. And we are gonna get to the mound situation next week. Okay, guys? I am a mound builder. Boom. We still practice mound building. All right. Well, I see somebody say,
Ask Phoenix if she's serving dessert tonight because
I can't see that one. But no, fellas, I'm trying to see through these lights.
Yeah, yes. We are definitely going to do an after party. Do apologize for my distractions, but I just see the chat is lit. I can't keep up. My eyes are not following.
Well, you ought to see how it's running on this television. You know, I'll be looking at one thing, and then when I blink and look again, it just moved.
That's why we tell them to tell a friend to
So,
tell a friend.
y'all keep telling everybody, you tell them this year, Phoenix and I and Mr. Waldo, we say we're going to be cooking stuff over here. Ain't nobody going to want to be going eating no leftovers, so stop all that leftover bags. We're going to be giving you some good stuff.
gotta go eat dessert by Phoenix.
Yes, and Phoenix serve good dessert. Y'all know she be getting some good desserts because she got me hooked. I couldn't go to sleep one night trying to keep up with y'all. I'm like, dog, I have to go to sleep. I got stuff to do tomorrow. So, you know what I love about this? When we leave from this live, y'all go in and break it up. Davita, I see you on there. Davita Carter, thank you very much. Y'all, I know some of y'all from way back. Davita is one. I didn't just fell in love with finding out feathers. You know, hey, we're going to do this. And how you shut down a lie, like I told you. A lie is like them roaches. Turn on the light, okay? So I'm gonna be departing from the kitchen for y'all for right now. But man, I told somebody this the other day, I'm not joking. Y'all better bring some air conditioning next week, okay? Because the kitchen gonna get hot, right? We ain't cooking on one stove next week. We cooking on 2-3 stoves at one time. Okay, we finna blow the top off the pressure cooker. All right? And that's going to answer a lot of questions. You've been cooking with Chief. And thank y'all for helping serve up the history. See you here next week. Y'all keep praying I get to learn how to get online on time. Because it's the whole thing is the system. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. But you know what? I thank you all for bearing with me. And let me learn this whole little hookup. I'm working from this program. Got to make it go. Going through this. I'm getting it, though. I'm getting it. Guess what? It's going to be worth it for me and for y'all. See y'all next week. Hopefully at 6 o'clock, because we're going to start trying to run a test early. 6 o'clock next week. Phoenix and I'll let you know. Next week, y'all going to give me 2 days in a row. So let's make them 2 days work, because then I'm going to have to take a break after I do them 2 days. Because I have to go work on tons of stuff I'm working on that y'all going to get to share. I'm going to share with you all, and y'all get to share in y'all areas what we're doing. Because we're going to be doing some lives in the fields after a while, just as soon as we get through next week. But next week, man, we're going to be serving the best of the best that the house can serve, okay? Going to roll it out for you on a silver platter, trim in platinum, guaranteed. See y'all next week. Thank y'all very much for your support. You've been cooking with Chief, serving up history. And I want to give a shout out for my only little sponsor I have. And that is, Home Sweet Hotel. If you're in St. Tammany Parish, stop by Home Sweet. That's my sponsor. And they have been a great sponsor for bringing the truth to you. So let people know. Or either you can call Home Sweet and tell them thanks for being a sponsor to the show so we can get you the truth. See y'all later. Chief is out of here.